Okay, hi everybody, good afternoon. I'm here with Mr. James Belyea from Sandalwood High School. I'm gonna talk to you about some questions based on your career, and well, let's get started. Please introduce yourself, Mr.
My name is James Belyea. I'm a math teacher at Sandalwood High School. I'm 27 years old.
Yeah. Okay, first question. Um, can you describe your college experience? Did you always want to be a teacher and everything? How did it came to be?
So the first one, my college experience, was primarily focused on baseball. I majored in finance and took most of my energy into baseball and trying to be the best collegiate baseball player that I could. Spent 1 year at the University of Florida and 1 year or 4 years at the University of North Florida. As far as wanting to be a teacher, I never really desired it. I've always thought about it because I thought I could do a better job than the teachers I had, and or the coaches. My mind always thought about things like that. So I had an opportunity while I was subbing at Inglewood High School, which was my alma mater, and my former teacher came to me and asked me if I wanted to replace her position. I had taken her classes, and she asked me if I wanted to teach her classes. I thought it was kind of interesting, and so I was teaching 2 days later.
Wow, it's hard, and you didn't even think about being teaching.
No, I was just subbing. Going to go to UBS, Universal Banking Solutions. I can't remember what it stands for. I was doing interviews with them to find out where I would go with my finance degree, and nothing really sat well with me. Just wasn't really interested, and I thought the teaching was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't a long-term choice, but I thought for now it's a pretty good job to make 24 years old and make $37,000 a year.
Oh, that's that's awesome. um, were you always familiar with this student age level that you were working with now, or did you just pick a random grade level?
No, it was not random. I actually subbed at elementary school, I subbed at middle school, and I subbed at high school. And I learned real quick that elementary school is not for me just because I do not have the patience nor the attention to give a lot of those students that they need. And I enjoy the learning and I enjoy going in deep into subject material, which was why I went into math and higher level math. Middle school, the kids are too emotional for me. Not that high school
Yeah.
kids are not, but in middle school they're especially. A lot of them are going through puberty the first time, and they're not quite sure what's going on. But high school was kind of my fit, and I think eventually I'd like to actually teach in college.
That's cool. What made you choose this specific age group in high school right now?
So with high school, with the age, there's such a sphere of influence that high schoolers are susceptible to, and teachers being one of those factors, amongst with coaches and principals and
Mm-hmm.
parents and peers. And I had some really great teachers at my high school who influenced me for most of the right reasons. And I just thought, it was a cool opportunity to be able to interact with the peers. And I've always enjoyed people and just relating to people and just learning in general, whether it's a math concept or some other concept that I just learned from Google or YouTube. And that love for learning and that enjoyment of interacting with people made that
Yeah.
job a no-brainer.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, why? Let's see. Why do you want it to be become a teacher? Just the
Again,
main
just
reason.
never really wanted to become a teacher. I guess a better question for myself, and I ask myself all the time, why do I stay a teacher? This is my 5th year. I spent 3 years at Inglewood and 2 years at Sandalwood. And the reason I give myself every day when I wake up, because some days it's like, wow, why am I still doing this? Is that the relationships you build with a student, in a matter of 15 or 20 years, they're going to go off and be doctors and pastors and builders and dentists and all assortment of fields, firefighters, police officers, and this is such a unique time that you have
Mm-hmm.
to mold them and kind of put your influence on them I know it's kind of selfish to say you want to put your influence on them, but I guess that's kind of where it comes from. You want to have that influence. Let's check that computer, make sure it's still on. And once you got your bachelor's degree and pass all 3 of those tests, and you're then eligible to become a teacher. And then they look at, all right, in your bachelor's degree, did you take 5 education classes that are dictated by the state of Florida? And if you didn't, you get to go back to and take those, which I did on University of Phoenix. It cost you $3,000, but it was worth it.
Yes, that sounds long. How long did it take you to do it? Like 2 years?
The state of Florida is very generous in how long they give you. You have 3 years to complete all of those, except for the general knowledge and the subject area. You have to do those in the first year, but shouldn't be a problem. But to get your official teaching certification, you have to have all 3 of those tests and a 4-year degree and the specialization in those 5 classes, and that gets you your permanent or professional certification, which lasts 5 years. Then you got to renew that.
Okay. I researched that. It's not what you know; it's who you know that gets you the job. Is that true based on your experience?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I always tell students all the time: someone tells you it's what you know, they're lying. Okay, and the way you approach it from a common sense standpoint, if I find a young student that I like, I'll train them whatever I need to train them in. If I own my own business, and I'll teach whoever that student is whatever they need to know about this job. As far as what you know, when getting a 4-year degree, all that shows that you're disciplined. And that's what I think employers look for. They don't really care what the degree is, but you've been disciplined enough to go get your degree and sacrifice 4 years of your life and even money for that matter with tuition rising. So from a showing of discipline, but it is about who you know. The perfect example is how I got my first job. It was my former teacher. She walked, Patty Fry, she walked into the principal's office at Inglewood and said, I have a person here that can replace me. I'm leaving in 2 days. He'll have his business certification. He's got a business degree, so he's automatically qualified to teach business classes, which was like Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint and Word, teaching those to the students. So I was automatically qualified. So it was definitely about who you know. And I would go on to say, as you get on different jobs, it's still about who you know, because people want to work with people that they're comfortable with, and they'll train them however they need to, whatever skills and knowledge they need to accumulate.
That's cool. Third question is, what characteristics do you notice that most teachers have, including yourself? Like, characteristics that all teachers have that gets related to the students?
I'll give you 3 of them. One is just a desire to learn themselves. For some reason, they have an innate curiosity just to want to learn, and they've kind of taken that on to teaching. One beautiful thing about teaching, it gives you that time off that those that enjoy learning can do away, because we're done at 2:30 in the day, and then we have summers off, and that allows more time to continue learning. 2 is just a genuine desire to be around the student, be around people. Because that's basically what your job is, transmission of ideas to people, and enjoying that mental game that you have to play with them to get them engaged in learning. So I guess the third one would be, and again, this is not a permanent list, this is just what I'm coming from based off my personal experience. There's got to be I would say a continual love for your subject. So not only learning, but it's got to be your subject, because you can get real bored teaching math every day. And so I would say there has to be some level of interest in your subject, because kids will know real quick whether you're bored with that particular subject or not.
I think that's 3 characteristics I need to have, but I'll work on it. Though. How much is your salary, and do you think you earn enough for what you do?
That's a tough question. My salary is $37,000 a year, starting off, and then I think right now it's 40 after 5 years. It doesn't go very high. It maxes out at like 65, 70. Do I earn as much? In a free market, you're going to get paid whatever the market thinks you're worth, the society thinks you're worth. The problem is my struggle is with the society that we live in. I think our society is backwards, where we pay athletes and entertainers millions of dollars, but yet we pay teachers so low. And again, we live in a broken world, a sinful world, um, and so when you have that type of presence, things are gonna be quite a little bit backwards. And from that standpoint, I think we're paid exactly what the market wants to pay us. So I don't think we're overpaid or underpaid. Um, and if society had a genuine value for education for teachers, they'd pay us more. But our society does not clearly, and but I'm okay with that. It's enough money to survive, and enough money if you're smart with it to make something of yourself.
With me, I don't see money as gaining happiness. It's about all the people that you interact with that makes the money worth it, and just any type of money. And just just recently, I don't let money take over my life no more. That money is uh, just man's way to control you, kind of way.
Absolutely, I would agree exactly what David said. The Bible speaks about the love of money is the root of all evil. Okay? It's not money itself, but it's the love of the money. You have to understand that money is just a tool to reach people. And in the end, again, I'm giving you my personal opinions. But in the end, the matter is the only thing that matters is Christ-driven life is where we go after this. And money, you can't take the money with you. It's like Monopoly. When the game's over, you got to put it back in the bank.
That leads to the next topic. About how do you add your Christ and faith into everything you do? Do you openly express your faith to your students? And if so, what ways do you do so?
Yeah, do I openly? Well, part of transmissions about transmitting ideas is the students need to know where the information is coming from. You always evaluate the source. And so with an understanding of that, I then go in to tell them about myself being the source of their information. And tell them why I teach, why I continue to teach, why I started teaching, and what gets me up every day and show up in class. It is strictly teaching is a ministry in the public school because you're teaching to many students who don't know Christ, and you don't necessarily want to jam it down their throats. And I think with with Christianity, the reason why it is so it has become popular, and I think it's the truth, is because you can't force it upon anybody. It has to be voluntary. But what you try to do what I try to do as a teacher is to let the student know that there's something special about me, and you do that in a way that you just impress them. You like by the way that you teach, by how you show care for them. They're just like there's something different about him, and I want to know what it is because he's different than all the other teachers I've had, and the difference is a good thing. But I just want to know a little bit more, and that's when you can. Like, Mr. Belly, what makes you so different? Well, that's easy, Jesus Christ. I'd love to tell you about it. But I'm pretty open about it. I try to, if a conversation starts, I'm jumping in. I think the laws state that I can't start the conversation, but I can sure finish it.
That's awesome. What I've been researching, like most teachers choose to put their faith at home, just leave it at home, just be normal like anybody else. But when they're at home, they're faithful. But when they go at school, they're just any other teacher. But that's what I researched a lot. And
Yeah, that's something that Jesus tells you: if you deny me on earth, I'll deny you in front of my Father. And part of that is where you work, and I'm gonna be very proud about him and very joyous about him, but in a humble way. Do we need to check the computer again?
Sorry about that. It's been turned on and off a lot. So. Okay, here we go. Next question. How do you use your platform to reach out to others, and how do students react to it? Any student?
I've had, matter of fact, it's funny because I have one student right now who was drilling me last year about Christianity, and he eventually got to the point where he didn't want anything did not like the answers that I was giving him, and disagreed with them. And I told him, I said, it's okay to disagree. The truth will always win out. Funny thing is, he shows up this year and now he dresses like a Muslim. And when I mean that, he dresses in very distinctual Muslim attire. He stands out, but it's funny. So I have those students who have their rebellious nature, and I'm okay with that because it's not me doing the changing of the heart. That's the God. I'm just presenting the gospel as it's written in the Bible and answering the questions as to the best of my interpretation, and that Jesus died for all our sins. And sometimes people don't want to hear that. But I've had a lot of. I have a Bible study during my lunch class, during my lunch and third period. And we typically have anywhere from 10 to 20 students show up, and we'll run through scriptures. So from those students that really enjoy it, they catch on, and then I have some that clearly don't. And a lot of the other students kind of fall in, they're just observing.
You kind of answered my third question. And how do you react to those people who disagree with you?
Well, I mean,
believe in something else.
Yeah, I was a non-professing Christian. I was not a Christian until I was 26 years old. So I'd be a hypocrite to be upset about them because they're 18 and they're having Christian discussions. That's more than I was doing when I was 18. And that one individual turned Muslim, and it doesn't make me love him any less. I'm just happy that he's trying to stand for something. Because I think it's important, even if you don't stand for Christianity, just from a humanistic standpoint, it's important that you have something to believe in other than yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Next question. Do you feel that reaching out to others is more important than teaching others the subject you specialize in?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, I teach. Yeah, absolutely. Reaching out is what it's all about. We're here to evangelize. We're here to preach or disciple, and we're here to be missionaries for the love of Christ. And it's a battlefield out there. This is a war zone that we live in, and heaven's the resting place. And this right here, I'm not a citizen of this world. And that's why a lot of people think, the things that how I say and how I act, especially my students, they find it very alien, very unnormal, because they're not accustomed to it.
Yeah. Ever since I turned Christian, that's been put in my heart to do everything for the glory of God, and that just making Him happy makes my whole day more glorious, and it puts more meaning to my life now than ever.
Absolutely. And just evaluating what David said about the glory of God, I'm going back to school with my master's degree at UNF, and I'm not going back because I do love learning, but I got an opportunity to glorify God with the gifts of math that God has given me, and I'm not sure where that's going to take me, but I'm starting it, and I'm taking these higher level math classes, and sometimes I question myself, how does it glorify God? But that doesn't stop me from trying to make that process happen every day. So everything I look at, everything that I do is all about glorifying God. I ask people like David to call me out when they see things that don't glorify God, because I need to get rid of those things. Get rid of those.
Okay. Second to last question. How can you, as a teacher, reach out to the community?
Reaching out to the community. Well, first of all, service starts in the home. The best thing you can do to reach out to the community is take care of your home and be a servant in your home. That's the hardest place to be a servant, because they know you in and out, and so they know when you're a hypocrite when you're not. As far as reaching out beyond your home, I think just being the same type of servant mindset that you have with the home, taking it to the classroom, taking it to another country for mission work, taking it to the local ballpark where you can play baseball and you can coach guys. But I think if you look at it from a common sense and logical standpoint, if each individual were to take care of their home, there would be no need to focus on the community, because every person would have their own home to go to. Now, the problem is people do not take care of their own home, and therefore there needs to be work done in the community, because you have kids who are just not trained in a biblical way, or not trained in the right way, so therefore they need somebody outside of their home to help them.
That's a good way to reach out. Starting at their own home. I never thought of it that way. But last question: is there any advice you want to give me if I fully commit to this career? Like any important advice?
Just love the Lord. Love the Lord. It'll make you a wonderful teacher. The kids will respect you not because you're a Christian, just because that they see the sincere love that is present in you on a daily basis. They see that you're just a little different, but that you're genuine, and they appreciate that. The students or individuals can easily tell when someone's being insincere or fake. They can spot that like a rat in the cheese. And so with Christ and following as a teacher, and I would say any profession, as long as you're glorifying God, because God's going to give you the desire and the motivation to work through whatever your career is. And so as long as you're focused on the Lord, He's going to take care of that.
Uh, I don't put all my faith in Him from now on, just because that's beyond our understanding. If we don't put don't believe in Him, so I don't know how to say it. But yeah, that ends our interview, and thank you so much for taking the time to talking to me, and I look up to you. That's why I interview you here, and you give me motivation to keep striving for my career. And without people like you and other Christian followers, and I don't know how I would do this all on my own. But yeah, I thank you so much, and appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay.